Hello and welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. Cologne, Germany right now, but Poland tomorrow. I am Jeff In Control Robinson. We're joined by Liquid Rhett, or Joost de Kroon.
That's me.
Hello.
And, how are you guys doing? I am super excited for this.
You sound super excited.
I am.
The voice. All right. I'll wait to tease you in a little bit. Guys, we're here. We're excited. It's been awesome. A lot of traveling. For you, I guess you drove how many hours?
About an hour.
Wow.
So, it's been a very long
with
trip.
that jet lag or car lag? You doing okay?
I took a little nap earlier,
Yeah?
so I'm feeling okay, but I'm sure I'll be passed out in a few hours from
Slept
here.
in your own bed. That was nice. Woke
Yes.
up.
How about
Did you have to beat traffic or anything? Is there anything?
I mean, there was a couple of guys that were cutting in front of me on the highway,
God.
which was really, really hard to deal with, especially with how tired I was.
That sounds terrible. That really does. I almost died.
I heard
Seriously.
turbulence, yeah?
Yeah, so, you know, people are nervous when they fly. This is the kind of thing, by the way, that would have ended Total Biscuit's life. So it's actually, if there's the comments out there, someone would be like, man, this tournament really misses Total Biscuit. Every tournament needs Total Biscuit. He's great. But had he flown here on this flight, he actually would have, his heart would have burst. It would have been a chest burster. James Cameron chest burster would have come right out of his chest. He died. It was the most turbulence I've ever had in my life. The stewardess afterwards was like, wow, that's the worst I've ever had in 35 years working here. And you know, they fly for a living. There's no real exciting way to describe this. I didn't fly through the actual airplane itself, but had it not been buckled, I might have bruised an elbow or something. Could have been really bad. Enough about us and our terrible travels. We're really excited. So today, let's just go ahead and roadmap this for you guys real quick. We're going to talk about the week in schedule. Today is the open bracket. You can see that Friday there.
It's meant to be Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, because it's not Friday. I don't actually know time right now. We're just doing open bracket today, but it's going to be a solid 10 hours of StarCraft 2 with your host, Rhett, and In Control. So kick back, relax. We're going to have fun. We're going to make good jokes and bad jokes. Rhett's going to do fantastic analysis, and I'll work as hard as I can to make him sound even smarter by being the dumb reflection. Tomorrow, Rhett and I are hopping on another plane to go join the rest of the cast in Poland. You ever been to Poland?
I've been to Poland last year, actually, the same venue. And if you haven't been, you'll be absolutely amazed because it's a really, really cool venue. It's like a total round circle venue. Yeah. So there's people everywhere, and you know, half of them are going to be League of Legends or more, but that doesn't matter. It's still going to look really awesome.
We're going to pretend they're there for StarCraft.
Yeah, of course. That's what we did last year too, and it's great there. It's really nice.
They kick ass, by the way. I did watch the event last year. I didn't get to go to it, but the Polish audience, hats off to them. They come out, they get excited, and it makes it really fun. Makes Carmack very proud. So that's tomorrow. That'll be the round of 16, as you guys can see. That is the single elimination. Today is double elimination. So we'll be checking in on that loser bracket. And actually, just to, again, to further roadmap that today, the only thing scheduled is we're showing you JYP versus MaNa first. And after that, it's Rhett and I's pick. We'll just go ahead and find the best matches according to us.
Mostly Jaedong, most likely.
Oh, as much EG as we can. If not Jaedong, then like people we could argue should be on EG or something like that. No,
the guys with chin straps.
Yeah, chin straps. That's exactly right. No, I'm just kidding. We'll find the best rounds. There you go. That's all of them. And again, that's a good 9 or 10 matches. So we're going to be here all day long. Really excited about that. And then this weekend, of course, it will conclude the $100,000 winner takes all death match. Like absolutely obscene. Have you ever seen something like this?
No, actually, I've never seen something like this. Not even in Hollywood movies. I think it's pretty much unmatched, and I think everybody in the whole world should watch already today, because today we're going to start building that story. Possibly one of those guys going to be winning that $100,000 takes all. It's going to be really dramatic. People are going to be crying. There's going to be there'll be fights after the finals, because like the second place guy might be so upset. You know, if it's going to be heartbreaking for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that. I could see all that drama unfolding. And again, the only way you guys can see that is if you tune in. So make sure and do that. You got to tune in. But that's the schedule in review. I think we're good with that. So again, the first match is going to be MaNa from Team Liquid, by the way. Congrats on that awesome signing. He's a fantastic fit for you guys, by the way. When I saw that, I don't know Bunny nearly as well, but that makes sense too. Apparently he's a really fun guy. But MaNa is one of the nicest, best performing, and just a fantastic guy. I'm really happy with him on Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to recruit him for like the last 3 years or something, so it was about time that he joined up. And Bunny as well, I have to say, as another Team Liquid player, ever since those guys joined, we have like 5 people now in Europe, and we're all in the same time zone. and I feel like a very much a stronger bond between us as a team. Like we're more like a team rather than a bunch of individuals playing StarCraft. And I really like to see him do well here, especially I know how much he loves to play well in Poland and how much he would like esports to grow in Poland as well. Nurchio, the same story. So like last year, he made it to the round of 8 and people went absolutely crazy for him. So I'm sure after tasting some of that, he's going to want that again. But he's got his road ahead of him, a very tough one.
Yeah.
Starting off with JYP, he was an EG Korean, very strong Protoss player. Even if he does make it past JYP, he'd have to face Jaedong or Scoobers.
Scoobers. I guess it could be Scoobers.
Everybody in the Team Liquid thread is predicting Scoobers for a win there. And just looking at the whole bracket, there's so many good players. There's Lenok, Hasuops, Hyun, Nurchio. Tefl's been doing very well recently. And of course, as well, Deer,
don't forget
who won the GSL last year and then won the global final right afterwards.
Did pretty okay for himself. This is just the open bracket, ladies and gentlemen. This is just chock full of good players. What I like here as well is there's some great Polish representation. So Poland has had a strong tradition of having fantastic RTS players. Rhett and I both know this dating back to Brood War. They were one of the strongest countries in the world, certainly outside of Korea. And here we, like you said, you have Tefl, Paranoid, an old school Templar of Twilight. He hasn't had quite as big of success in StarCraft 2, but he's still a very strong Zerg player. Excited about that. And then even a player like Forte, who's been like, I'm gonna die for this comment, but pretty quiet internationally. But every time I say that, there's always the people like, wow, that's because you don't know the European scene. He does great on the EU-GM ladder. Okay, fine. But not, too much outside that. And then, is Thermal Polish?
Euthermal's Dutch, actually.
Same thing, right? That's the same country?
I guess so. For an
They're both
American, it's all the
boots.
same.
Yeah,
it's all Europe. Like
there's dragons over here, so basically the same thing. We'll see how they do, though, because they're in there elbow to elbow with Koreans as well. Like you said, Lenok, Deer, Hyun, these are some of the top-performing Koreans that have traveled internationally right now. And then, of course, there's the Dark Horse JYP, who at the DreamHack Championship made a trail of legends fall behind him, destroying Naniwa and Jaedong before then getting destroyed himself. So it's just like he was there to just crush dreams, basically.
Yeah, and some of these guys are already not going to make it. There's only going to be 2 slots, one through the winner bracket. So, like, out of Lenok, JYP, Jaedong, Deer, Nurchio, there's some guys going to be going home after today, which would make them probably very sad because they came all the way to Poland for this.
Who's your pick? Who's your top 2? Who makes it out of here? I'm putting you on the spot.
Jaedong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think I'll have to go with Deer. It's pretty boring picks, I suppose, but I just feel like they're the strongest right now. I mean, I think Lenok is a close number 3. If he is on top of his game today, then he could take out either of those. Hyun, I'm not sure. Like a while ago, I would have said he's on par with those guys, but lately he's not played as impressively, I feel, and I think he might have a hard time.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's I feel like the big dogs when I look in there is certainly Deer and Jaedong. I think you picked the favorites, and that's not just my bias, but I honestly do think objectively those are probably the 2 highest achievers right now. But there's no, as I look through this, there's really nice non-Korean Terran representation in there. Well, I guess not super really nice, but Thermal's had some good performance. Dystar is kind of not necessarily like a tournament winner guy, but he certainly could beat anyone in a best of 3, I feel. He does some weird stuff. But other than that, there's not super strong Terran representation in here.
No, I think Terrans are going to have a hard time. And it looks like we're about ready to start the game.
Let's do it.
It's going to be the first map's going to be Heavy Rain. It's going to be Liquid against EG.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that coming.
A bronze against a GM.
Yeah. JYP needs to start laddering on Europe a little bit. Well, guys, we're super excited to be here. Hopefully you guys are going to stay with us all day long and follow this journey. And again, just as a reminder, today is the open bracket. It's kind of like casual Thursday here in Germany. We're not even wearing pants right now, so you can kind of see the mode that's being set. We're here for a solid 10 hours, and it's awesome. Really happy to be here. Big shout to everybody. And if you don't mind, too, if you're going to check them out, follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at IEM. Those are going to be your hashtags, your @signs, your Facebookins, your likins, and all that stuff all weekend long. That's the social media, and that's where you're going to connect with other people that are also watching as well. Let's get in the game. Rhett, give me that tremendously awesome player introduction.
All right, so here in the top left of Heavy Rain, it is the Team Liquid player. It is MaNa.
Oh, I'm the observer. Crowd goes wild.
And in the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is EG JYP.
You know, like, player introductions is a staple of commentating StarCraft 2. But it's always so funny when it's just like the two of us in here and you're like, JYP, and then nothing happens afterwards, and you're like, oh, I just assumed someone's fist pumping.
I remember last time at IEM Cologne, I was doing it for the first time. I was like doing it really civilly. And, like, people, I thought I was doing a really good job, but I don't think anyone else was. So because I was going like, I started like low and then went up with my voice, like you would do like in a football stadium.
Yeah.
But like for StarCraft, it doesn't really work out the same way.
Liquid murder.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just you by yourself, and you're like, oh, well, that's all right.
Not the same feeling.
So let's talk about Heavy Rain PvP a little bit. This is a fantastic map for Protoss in general. Across all three matchups, they'll be happy to play here. You have a solid natural with a choke area. You have a third just outside your main. It's very defensible for drop play. Blink is very powerful here as well. But getting more specific to PvP, part of the reason why Protoss players like this map as well is because it's a 1v1 map, you kind of already start off with easily located information, proxy gates, proxy oracles, these kind of things. They're predictable and scoutable because it's not a 4-player map, so the randomness of this matchup gets muted just a little bit. And speaking of that randomness, there is JYP. And that'll be for an oracle, almost certainly.
This will be a proxy oracle. I kind of like what he did. Like, he went all the way to the right side, so he would have scouted any kind of proxy gates. And now he just follows it up with a proxy oracle, so he does not lose like the probe mining time that badly because he's actually proxying an oracle. And MaNa is actually going to see JYP main here pretty soon, and there's only one pylon. And now it's up to MaNa to realize, oh, there's only one pylon. There has to be something proxy. It's like a really ancient rule from StarCraft. And he's probably going to search for that pylon, and when he sees it's not there, he should know something is going on.
One pylon and 3 probes on gas super early. I mean, that's the lesser fact. You hit the nail on the head. The one pylon is the dead giveaway. So if you're MaNa right now, you're like, okay, this is probably proxy oracle. The scary thing is, and with JYP this is in particularly true, anything's possible. It could be a Dark Shrine out there. It could be freaking 3 other gateways. He's that kind of crazy guy. And then one cool thing that Protoss start to do as well is they'll actually do an opening like this, but they'll just build the pylon out of the natural. So if you're wondering what MaNa's looking for right now, it's that. He's looking for the tomfoolery pylon. But not finding it the natural does mean that we go back to something Rhett said, where you don't want to lose out on too much mining time. So at this point in time, MaNa should have it narrowed down to probably proxy oracle.
Yeah, and he's actually going to the wrong side of the map, and the oracle is already being made, and it's being chrono boosted, so it's going to hit pretty soon. And MaNa needs to like keep his units at home here. He's actually, his stalker is searching around a little bit. His mothership core was searching around, but not quite finding anything just yet. And I really hope for him that he's going to keep his stalker in his mineral line. It seems like he does know kind of what's going on because he is taking that defensive stance. And that's just some really good game sense from him.
Yeah, he's earned himself the information to defend this quite nicely. You can see that he has built his own Twilight Council, figuring that he probably doesn't need detection anytime too terribly soon. He'll even have a photon overcharge by the time this oracle pulls in, but probably wants to hold back on that because it might be a little bit overkill. But JYP is going to go for a couple of shots here. Gets 1 so far. And actually, this is quite bad control, to be brutally honest with you. You look at 3 different probes over there that are in yellow health. That means they were 1 tap away from dying. But instead, they all 3 have a little bit of a bear attack story for themselves.
Yeah, only 1 kill right there, and I don't think that's ever worth it.
No.
For him to invest this much money into a Stargate and an Oracle. He will be able to keep it alive, so maybe he'll be able to do something a little bit later on in the game. But so far, this has been a really excellent defense from MaNa.
What I like about this, and this is something we've seen a little bit more often too here, he goes in for another kill, wants to keep that Oracle alive, does bounce out of there with another kill under its belt. But again, to your point, still not worth it. Koreans will dip out of that tech pretty quick. And what this Oracle now represents is basically, MaNa, you have to stay at home either with your Mothership Core or a Stalker or 2, probably 2. Even with its low health, just the low DPS of the Stalker means that if that Oracle wants to sit in there and just take on the DPS of a single Stalker, it's going to do so much damage. But meanwhile, JYP is switching to 4-gate Blink, and it's not that far behind MaNa.
No, and he's actually skipping the Robo, and then there's a probe moving out right now as well. Probably going to make a proxy pylon or scout for a Nexus. I think he'll make a pylon. And it looks like he might want to actually be aggressive with this. The Oracle will provide high ground vision, so by the time Blink is done, he'll be able to get in super fast. But at the same time, MaNa is moving out aggressively with three Stalkers and adding 2 more, and he will actually find that pylon. And he's got a pylon of his own on the bottom side of the map, so I think MaNa's going to be able to be aggressive here before JYP can be. And MaNa's going to also get an observer, so
yeah,
I think this is a really, really good position for him.
It's interesting. It's interesting. JYP he's like, this is all in round 2. He's no detection, just balls the wall, 4-gate, Blink Stalker going for it, but he doesn't have a pylon out here. The furthest one out here is ironically going to be that initial proxy pylon he used to build the Stargate. But MaNa has spent money on a Robo. He's got a Sentry in there. He has spent money on an Observer. That's going to cut into his ability to make Stalkers. Now, of course, the same is true for the Stargate and the Oracle itself, but we're going to have a big engagement out here. A couple of Blinks going back and forth. Not a lot of super micro-intensive Blinks, but it looks like MaNa's getting cut off here.
Yeah, MaNa had less Stalkers than JYP here, and JYP just being relentlessly aggressive, paying out for him, because, like, he was not afraid at all with MaNa being out on the map, and now MaNa is in a very tough position. He does get his Stalkers back into the main base without losing too much. But for now, the map control goes to JYP.
Yeah, his frugal play with the Mothership Core earlier, not going for the immediate Photon Overcharge every time the Oracle showed its face, meant that he's going to have 1 and then even 2 Photon Overcharges here. So for right now, even though MaNa's behind in Stalker count, he's pretty okay defending here for now. And he is building an Immortal, and that'll dip the favor in his side very quickly here. But we actually see the Mothership Core does die of JYP, and he even loses a Stalker, but all he kills in the exchange is a pylon, which is just simply not worth it. So a couple more exchanges like this, and JYP is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and a few small micro mistakes, and now there's the Immortal. It's not shooting yet, but with the Immortal in the mix, this fight should go to MaNa, and JYP is just staying around and fighting. I think he might want to blink out of there relatively soon. Also, some Stalkers being misrallied, and now JYP is losing way too much, and now there is 10 Stalkers left against 6. And MaNa takes a 20 supply lead pretty much and defended this attack nicely.
The second JYP decided to blink back individual Stalkers while just basically tanking the damage from that Immortal meant that he was always going to lose that fight. I don't agree with that decision at all. There it is. JYP taps out, and it's going to be a 1-0 favor for Team Liquid's MaNa.
Yeah. GG there. JYP's play looked a little bit rushed. Going for that proxy Oracle to begin with showed that he really wanted to be aggressive. Yeah. And after that, he didn't waste any time. He just went straight for the 4-gate Blink follow-up. And MaNa showed a good job defending there, not panicking, not seeing the Stargate, but even then knowing about it just from seeing the 1 pylon. And he played really nicely there, I have to say. And do you know anything about what kind of shape JYP is in? Because it didn't feel like he was playing like he felt like he was the favorite.
Oh, no. This is... You are witnessing grade A JYP over the last few years. He's always got this kind of erratic, chaotic thing going on, and it either serves him really well or it's the reason he loses. And MaNa's a fantastic player, so I look at that first game and I don't come away from that thinking, oh no, JYP's drunk at the wheel or something like that. Like, he tried 2 different strategies. The Proxy Oracle, it got scouted, and it was thwarted through excellent play from MaNa. He didn't take any risks. He left behind the exact right amounts of things to do that. And then MaNa continued to play conservatively with that Robo and detection just to make sure that he doesn't die to some weird, DT follow-up, which is semi-common. But just like you said, he stayed calm, cool, and collected when JYP caught him in a tough situation. And because he had that Photon Overcharge and was able to get out the higher DPS unit in the Immortal, JYP made one mistake, and that was to stick around and fight, and that's it. And that's PvP in a nutshell. So that's a really long-winded answer, but the shorter, the TLDR of that is, no, I don't look at JYP and say he's out of shape or doing bad. This is just, that's how he plays.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, game 2, I guess it could be pretty much anything from JYP then. It could be... I would like to see him play more of a defensive game, like the way MaNa just played last time. Because I feel like JYP is really good when he plays that kind of game. So there's no need for him to rush things and be all that aggressive.
Well, he's really deadly in PvP. He's got... he's capable of anything. And that always, again, in a matchup that suffers from having kind of a higher percentage of random factors determining the winner and the loser... that makes it kind of frustrating to play against, but he's also very micro-intensive, which makes him very good in this matchup as well. So you're calling for a defensive play? I hope so. He doesn't really play to that typically, but what I do like for him in terms of going into this game number 2 of this best of 3 is he did open up with some cheese. He opened up with some pretty good cheese. So now MaNa has to have that in the back of his mind. Is it a double bluff? Does he cheese again? Or does he not cheese because he already tried to cheese? So MaNa's got to be thinking a little bit deeper in there. And then I know in JYP's brain, there is just random, like there's balloons popping, there's rainbows shooting around. Like there's not actual factors like that being calculated.
It's just him picking a build, like whatever.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
I'm pretty sure he does that. Yeah.
Could be anything when you play against bronze.
Oh, yeah. He's not laddering up that European. You're going to hit on him every time. We got the GGs. We're just kind of waiting. Okay, they're doing color here. All right, so the map, let's talk about that a little bit. It's going to be Frost. So in the first game, we did have a 1v1 map, and that's where those proxy oracles, those proxy gateways, are going to be much more common. To pull that off on Frost, you got to be taking probably an extremely illogical risk, like doing center gate and weird stuff like that, or double probes. To be honest, as I say this, it's pretty much not feasible. So Rhett, we're either going to have a blink, like a speed blink thing, because it's something JYP goes to. It's in his back pocket at all times, or we will have that defensive game.
Yeah, this is definitely a map much harder to do any kind of proxies on without taking insane risks. And as well as just being a 4-player map just changes the whole dynamic. Probably both players play a little bit more conservative. There's no threat of like proxy 2 gates really, because like you're not going to get the right spot unless you map hack. So
this would be a bad tournament to map hack, I imagine.
I think some people even go Nexus first, right, on 4-player maps in PvP.
Dude.
Like Oz used to do that.
It has been done. It still makes parts of my body quiver in ways that they're not used to doing. Sorry for this delay, guys. But again, this is the experience. Think of yourself as being here in studio with Rhett and I, and there's a fire crackling on the log. None of us are wearing pants. You're not wearing pants. We're not wearing pants. It's just ultra casual. And we're just talking StarCraft a little bit. Yeah. Just talking it up.
Just what we've been doing for the last 10 years, basically.
Basically.
Just StarCraft.
People just started paying us for it, though. And jokes on them because we did it for free forever. Yeah, and we don't even have like a next round to talk about. So we're just filibustering as all get out. Talk to me about... Nope, game started. Fantastic, because I'm terrible at that. I only like to talk StarCraft. Once we start talking about other things, that's where people get really annoyed by me.
Turn off the stream.
Yeah,
everything.
They get muted.
All that.
That's when the hate and control threads pop out. It's not good. Even when I talk StarCraft, sometimes it happens, but that's fine. I can't help that one.
It's just because you're Protoss.
Yeah. The Protoss hate right now, man. The hate train.
It's a tough time right now, yeah.
It's not. It's really not, because we're winning for the first time, so all their tiers are being drowned out by actual results. So the Protoss players are like literally just dumping wads of cash on their bed and then not visiting Reddit, and it's fine. They're okay with everything that's happening.
All right, guys. Looks like we are actually in the game with these two fine Protoss players. And here in the top right of Frost, we have JYP. And here you go. For you in the bottom right.
All right, bottom right from Team Liquid. It is Poland's very own Liquid MaNa, or MaNa.
MaNa, I think. Artosis says MaNa.
Is that so? You're gonna
but
do
I
that?
believe it is MaNa.
Guess what? It's either one.
It
you know what
ways.
MaNa is, right? You know what it goes back to.
It goes back to.
You have to know. You just muted me for 1 second. You just muted me.
I
for
just
1
muted
second.
you.
Don't touch that board, you son of a gun.
I'm not a DJ.
Answer the question, because it's linked into
it
a
goes
jab
back
at
to
you.
having energy for spells.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You used to play, what was that game with Skew all the freaking time?
Some MMORPG.
Yeah,
Don't talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only played StarCraft ever.
All right, getting into the builds here a little bit. Up in the top left-hand side, you can see the production tab shows they're building gateways at about the same time. In fact, I want to even say they were maybe 13. Wish I had that info for you guys, but I was too busy talking about something that didn't matter at all. I know, right?
Tell us something about these positions, Jeff.
There's not much to say. It used to be that you would always scout, quote-unquote, close positions. So if you're MaNa, you'd scout to the left, and if you're JYP, you'd scout to the left as well. But that's almost fallen by the wayside. Protoss kind of scout just... They don't scout cross, obviously, but they'll scout up, down, and left, right. I'm not quite sure why that trend got broke so hard. I think the maps, it ended up becoming a little bit more fine to do that. And as you can see, both of them are going to scout. No, actually, excuse me. One is scouting up, down. The other one, MaNa, is scouting left, right. So this is like a perfect example of it. There's just no science to it. JYP will be the benefit of a first scout, which is a big deal. On a 4-player map like this, anything is possible. There's that Nexus first that you talked about, but there could just very well be like in-base Oracle. the exact same build that JYP did last game, only just a little bit safer and a little bit slower.
And so far, both have taken their double gas, so both are most likely going to look for some kind of tech route after this. MaNa adding a second gateway, and JYP so far waiting for his core. So I have to see JYP also with the quick scout. He goes for his target again.
There it is.
So yeah, I think MaNa is going to take a very, very long time to know what's going on. And by the time he does find JYP, there's going to be a mothership core and most likely a stalker. So he's not going to know about that Stargate. So this is a little bit of an unfortunate start for him. It's not like going to be like last game where he sees the one pylon and a double gas and he's going to know what's going on. This game, he's not going to have any clue, and we'll have to see how he deals with it then. Yeah,
I'm a little bit disappointed. This is that when pro gamers commentate nitpicky thing that everyone hates, but I'm going to do it anyways. MaNa's still scouting top left, having scouted bottom left, but while getting scouted first. He should have known. It would have had to be a cross scout from JYP to get there at that time, so he could have potentially scouted before that mothership core popped out, or at least as it popped out. But instead, what he's saying right now is, well, he might do something with this probe, some kind of proxy out here, but he can't scout for the reasons you just stated. A stalker will certainly be out, or at least a mothership core.
Yeah, and actually it's going to be Phoenix from JYP. What do you think about that? Phoenix openings, are they still really good in PvP? I remember they used to be popular.
Phoenix is the absolute... Okay, well, there's going to be people that disagree with this, but I feel like Phoenix are the most powerful unit in PvP, certainly for the first, like, 15 minutes. But they fall... Well, here's the thing. I feel like you don't see a lot of Phoenix versus Phoenix because Protoss players hate Phoenix versus Phoenix. It's the stupidest thing in the entire game. He should be facing... I think that's going to be a Twilight Council out there, though. Or maybe it's just a pylon.
I don't know what that pylon is.
No, really. He's just going to expand now. He does find the pylon, though, does MaNa, which is nice. But this Phoenix opening is quite strong. It's going to pull in here, and it's just sentries. Mothership Core is going to have to use its energy.
Yeah, now MaNa actually sees the Phoenix, so now he knows what's going on. He responds with a robotics bay. And he's getting a Nexus. So JYP actually saw the Nexus, and he also saw the robotics bay. So he knows it's 2-gate, and now he can respond with aggression if he likes. But he's also getting a robotics bay, so it looks like he also is only getting 3 Phoenix. And he's going to try to get some damage done right now, but there are stalkers there, so he will get chased away for now.
I'll tell you, the Phoenix opening was nice for JYP, but as time is going on here and there's 0 damage registered so far, it's getting worse and worse, and by large margins. He is going to throw down his Nexus, which I feel like is the best choice right now. So tech-wise, he's behind in all things considered, but even in economy, but it's not so much that it's just GG right off the bat, and now he will get a few probes. And what I do like about the Phoenix as the game goes on is that they should continue to either keep MaNa buttoned down inside his base or deny information. Things like hallucinated Phoenix, hallucinated Oracles will not be able to get across the map as long as JYP is on his game.
Yeah, and also in the meantime, while these Phoenix have been flying around, JYP is massed probes, and he's actually at 31 to 25.
Wow.
And he's taking a nice little probe lead, so he's getting a lot more money right now, and MaNa's just going to have to defend for a very long time. He is getting Blink right now.
Yeah, he canceled the Robo. It's worth noting here. He canceled the Robo, and he's just going to go Blink. So these stalkers that he's making to defend against the Phoenix will have that alternate purpose of then being aggressive with that Blink upgrade. But as we can see here, JYP is winning the scouting game. He is over and over again seeing that he has no reason to make anything other than Immortals right now and just, support units like Sentries and Stalkers. So he should be in an okay position to defend.
And just getting one more probe right now, and he's also getting Immortals. So he's going to have 2-3 Immortals by the time MaNa can do anything with his Blink. Do you think MaNa will be looking to attack by the time Blink finishes, or is this more like a safe opening into something else?
If he had anything to follow it up, like if there was a Robo right now or something, I would tell you that I think he's going to defend. But as we see, he is moving out across the map, and he does have no tech behind this, so it should actually just be some kind of Blink timing. He doesn't, he doesn't have to be locked into it. He doesn't have to do this. But he's at least going to attempt it. He's going to poke forward. And there's a couple of Photon Overcharges. There's 2 Immortals with a 3rd coming out. I feel like JYP should be completely fine.
Yeah, also the supply. Look at the supply. By the time there's 3 Immortals, I don't think there's any way for MaNa to be able to do anything here, even though he's getting a Proxy Pylon. He's not getting anything else behind this. He's getting some probes, but he doesn't have a Robo at all. And JYP is getting a 4th Immortal now. He's taking a huge lead tech-wise.
Yeah, and JYP is going to want to start adding some more support units here, because I agree with you. He is in a great position, but Blink Stalkers can do some nasty stuff. There's the aggressive Blink forward. MaNa's just going to go for it. Actually, one Stalker on the low ground, unfortunately, and you can see MaNa's just already curling up into the fetal position and saying, whoa, I don't want anything to do with this. He is going to hesitate up there, but he does end up blinking down. Now, he's got some sentries here, too. If he can get JYP to commit to the high ground, he could potentially force field him up there and have that Nexus to himself. But JYP would have to just kind of brain lapse like there's no tomorrow to let that happen, I would imagine.
Yeah. With these 3 Immortals, there's just not much he's going to be able to do. He's getting his own Robo now, so it seems like he realizes, okay, he's well defended. But from this point on, JYP is going to be able to... He's getting a Forge, he's going to get upgrades, he's just adding some more Immortals. He'll probably go up to Colossus or something like that. And he's also got a healthy probe lead by 4. So everything is looking really, really nice for JYP. He's actually going to go for it now. He lifts up the sentries, really nice.
Sentries, yeah. And that's going to be a little bit of a costly exchange there as well. The sentries will die. That was a really cool move. The force fields could have kept the Immortals back and made that into a potentially nice situation for MaNa. But by picking up the sentries, he didn't have that option available to him. So all he could do is blink away and just take his losses. But you had pointed out earlier, look at that supply advantage. We're pushing on to 20, going on 30. JYP in a very, very good position to take this second game. And now getting a couple of probe picks off as well. That's not the biggest of deals, but what's nice about that is it's like scouting with some venom. It's like, I'm going to find out what you're doing and take a probe for my efforts.
Yeah, he's killed 9 probes total, and he's not lost a Phoenix yet, which I think is a very good deal. So maybe you're right. Maybe is Phoenix the best opening for PvP in the first 15 minutes, because they've certainly proven their worth.
Yeah, and just 3 of them too. You point that out. It's a really good point. I mean, exponentially they become even more little brothers as the game goes on. Like if you have like 5 or 6 of those guys harassing you, forget about it. Super annoying. Fast third being taken by JYP. And why not? He's got the strong base of Immortals. I think that's a 6th Immortal.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of them.
That's a lot. And they're great. They're great in this matchup. They don't get worse. Now, it's worth noting, by opening up Blink and not doing a lot of damage, MaNa, to a certain extent, has a little bit of dead weight here. Now, he only has 6 Stalkers, if I'm not mistaken. No, okay, he actually has 11. There's 5 more in his base. And that's a bad number. Those Stalkers, as the game goes on, they're armored. They're really bad against Immortals. Their DPS is not very high. You don't want them. So MaNa is stuck with a unit that he would rather not have, and as the game goes on, he's going to look for a cost-effective way to get rid of him. But with so many Immortals out there, good luck.
Yeah, and JYP is looking to be aggressive here. He's actually also got 4 more gates finishing up, but he doesn't have a proxy pylon anywhere, so I'm not sure what he's trying to do right now. If he had a proxy pylon, he could put on a lot of pressure, because he's got at least, how many gates? 7 gateways.
Well, it's a funny moment we're witnessing right now, Rhett, and it takes your professionally trained eye to catch this, but this is an aggressive stance from JYP. He is not teching to Colossus. He's just now adding the Templar Archives. Blink is being upgraded. I think he has charge, and if he doesn't have charge, he will do that after Blink, but he wanted to. He wanted to muscle up and go apply pressure, or at least deny a third. He did see that there is no third, so that was mission accomplished, but without a pylon down there, to your point, you can't just sit there and do sustained aggression. He has to pull back, basically.
Yeah, he's got a War Prism now, so I think by the time +2 lines up, and by the time Blink finishes, and by the time he's going to be able to get the Archons, he'll probably go for a big bust. But he's going to let MaNa stay alive for a little bit longer, scout a little bit more. MaNa has built up a nice Immortal count by now, but just looking at the income, it's just getting worse and worse. It's like 68 probes to 51. It's almost borderline too many probes right now for JYP. He's got full saturation on 3 bases. And he's going to be able to get so many units right now, adding even 2 more gates for a total of 9.
Yeah.
And his production is going to be so insane. He's getting 3 Archons, and Immortal Archon, it's a pretty deadly combination.
It's a little bit anticlimactic because they're both doing the exact same thing. It's just JYP literally has almost 33% more economy. They're both going Immortal Charge Lot Archon for right now. Like if you could just handicap MaNa like 3 Colossus right now, this game becomes a lot more interesting, because while he is behind in economy, his army has that extra unit that is that much more powerful. It's a game changer. But as it is right now, it's like, no, MaNa's just kind of got the same stuff. They have about the same upgrades. He's got more Stalkers, which is not good. I don't know what the hell, this is the weirdest Warp Prism ever.
Yeah, he's got a Templar in there, but he doesn't have Storm, so not sure what that was ever going to accomplish, but he needs to keep it alive so he can attack soon.
But even his pathing was weird. It was like, you know what?
I'm gonna fly
Let's just go down the middle of the freaking map. I'm tired of all these lame pussies just kind of flying in airspace. Let's just take it down the middle of the map. It's not a dune buggy, JYP. Like, use it. So he will. Are you serious? He doesn't have Storm?
He doesn't have Storm, but he's just going to go for a massive attack right now. He's going to have so many Immortals, so many Archons, such a supply lead, and just being like 30 seconds ahead of MaNa in pretty much every single way.
Yeah.
They both do have the same upgrades, but JYP is going to have charge, and he's going to be able to make so much. He's got so much money. He can use all those gates whenever he wants.
Yeah.
To be maxed out.
Yeah, I mean, and MaNa's going to do the best he can here. Again, with a similar army, but just less. At least their upgrades are similar, so that MaNa does have that going for him. He would like an upgrade advantage, of course. JYP muscling up out here is going to add 6 more supply of whatever the hell.
There's that. Oh my god, he just beat back the mothership core and killed it.
Okay.
So that was nice usage of that War Prism, actually.
Nice recovery, JYP. Now it makes it look like it's on purpose. And it probably was. Let's give JYP credit. I'm just joking around. But here we go. We have that big altercation. Archon's in a better position here for JYP, doing more damage. You can see a couple of Archons stuck behind the gun line there for MaNa. But the bad news just gets worse. Warping in on either side. Actually getting the War Prism, that was a nice little move right there. And again, because there's no pylon here, actually, JYP is not reinforcing. So this might get survived by MaNa, but it's kind of a weird survive. It's like I'm in a ditch without clothes on, but I am alive.
There's so many Immortals left, though, and they're not dying because there's still Archons to deal with the Zealots. And now the Immortals of MaNa are taking fire. So I don't think MaNa's going to survive here.
No. I mean, no, you're right.
Nah,
he's dead.
GG.
Yeah, he's dead, but he could have pulled more probes, maybe.
GG.
Lived another minute. JYP, with his unorthodox, sometimes clumsy play, does pull it out and ties it up at 1 apiece. We're going to go to game number 3 here in a moment. But what are your thoughts on that game? What did you think?
I kind of feel like it all started out when JYP scouted right and MaNa scouted wrong. And JYP was able to go Phoenix without really fearing anything at all. And ever since that moment, MaNa was like, okay, there's Phoenix, I have to defend. And then he tried to go for Blink and then tried to do a timing attack, but it just didn't work out because JYP got his Immortals in time. And
inexpensive Phoenix, too, by the way. You pointed this out earlier, and it's a really good point. It's not like he invested in 6 or 7 Phoenix and then only killed 5 probes. He built 3 Phoenix. He got a Protoss locked into his main base, denied scouting. And then, like you said, he triggered a Blink Stalker timing attack that did 0 damage. I mean, JYP dictated the entire game the whole way.
Yeah, it was actually kind of surprising to see him get only 3. I think that's pretty unique, but they definitely paid for themselves. And, you know, he was able to just play MaNa ever since he got all full information, what he was doing. He had all the right timings, just got a slight lead and just rode that lead out and wait until the end of the game, where he just had a little bit more stuff than MaNa. And I think they both kind of showed that they like to play the same way. Yeah. PvP, because they both went for that Immortal Archon mix. And depending on the last map, we might see a much more even game just like that. Well, we'll have to see if MaNa can actually make the difference.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, as far as that is actually a really good point, too, is that they've shown kind of their tendency in PvP. Again, it's just a best of 3, so we can't write off like, okay, they've been solved. We know exactly what they're going to do. But it looks like when both of them have their preference in terms of what kind of army comp they want to do, it is going to be more of the Charge Light Archon Immortal style, which on Frost really capitalizes too on maybe an overly aggressive either Expander or Techer. If you go straight to Colossus and you have like 6 Zealots and 2 Stalkers and Immortal and then a Colossus, you'll get ran over by the style. Or if you take too fast of a third. But by doing the Brawler, Mass Immortal, Charge Light Archon style, you can take that faster third because you're more well-rounded against more openings.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see the difference between like the Colossus style against like the Immortal Archon style. I guess what you said is right, that if you go Colossus, you're a bit weaker to early attacks.
Yeah, depending on the map.
But in the late game, it's probably stronger to have a few Colossus in there, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah. It's funny because for a while there, I remember at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, everyone was just all about the Tempest. Like, they just screw Colossus, skip right to Tempest. But then after that first month, basically, a lot of the PvPs look exactly the same. It's just Mass Colossus. They're still the best unit. It's nice with the Tempest, though, because if the other guy does have 6 or 7 Tempest, you better have some answer for that. Otherwise, your Colossus will just be gone. It's changed up a little bit that way.
Yeah, and I have to say that before I became a caster, I've never watched any PvP, so I don't have that much to add as regards to strategy.
You're coming in at a good time. PvP used to be...
I'm learning, man.
Oh, my God, it was so bad. In Wings of Liberty, PvP was... It was 4-gate versus 4-gate, or, like, what can I get away with despite 4-gate? That was the whole meta. Oh, my God.
And now it's like, I got Nexus Cannon, so I can at least go up to 2 bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more fun now. You still see your PvP cheese. You still see the all-out aggression. But there's a hell of a lot more late game going on right now. And interesting late game, I'll say this too. People are using Warp Prisms. There's all tech trees being represented. People are even going for the mothership without the toilet. It's fantastic. It's fascinating.
All right, and on the last map for this series, on Habitation Station, in the top right, we have the Evil Genius's Protoss player from South Korea. It is JYP.
And his opponent, the top left-hand side, having the best of 3 equalized on him in game number 2, it is Team Liquid's MaNa, or MaNa.
You know, if you giggle every time I do an introduction,
I know,
you're going to make me feel really
It's
insecure.
very unprofessional. I will stop. Believe me. I'll get fired. I just can't help. It's so funny with 3 of us guys in here, and I can hear every breath you take. So you're like, Evil Geniuses, JYP. And it's just quiet for a while. Like, it'll be cool tomorrow when people will cheer when you say that, Rhett.
Yeah. Everything will be cool tomorrow.
At least Artosis will banana grin and toe tap his feet.
What do you think about this map? Is there anything gold related? Like, is there any fast gold strategies in PvP that are manageable in this matchup?
People got crazy for a while there, and they were taking it like as their natural and doing weird stuff. If you watch, I want to say, I think it's Crank that does it every once in a while. A couple of those weird guys out there. But for the most part, no. The gold base here is purely for pieces of shit like yourself that play Zerg, that use this map as their way to guarantee at least one win.
Have you not experimented with the gold base Immortal All-In? Because
is that
it's
a
pretty
thing?
sick. Yes, it's a thing.
Oh, you know what? I saw that on stream. Yeah, that looks pretty brutal. And you like take 1 gas, right?
Yeah, it's
The
killer.
super fast one.
You get like 1,000,000 zealots because of the gold.
Oh god. Oh, so it's the 8-gate 2 Immortal Warp
Something
Prism
like
one,
that,
right?
Something like that. Yes.
Yeah, that build actually has knocked Jaedong out of more tournaments than I've competed in like the last 3 years.
I was talking with Snoot and TLO, and we like all veto this map just because of that build.
Oh wow.
Against Protoss.
Well, I know what I'm doing when I go home.
Yes.
But speaking to PvP outside of the gold base, this is a very big Stargate versus Stargate map, just because of that empty space between the 2 mains. So JYP, who has already opened up with Stargate both times, this is where that weird mind game again comes in. The thing to take into account, though, is that it is an interesting mind game, but it's not like you can super hard punish Stargate with the Oracle now having detection. Back in the day, you'd go DT if someone you knew was going to go Stargate. But in this day and age, back in the day when PvP was harder to detect. No, but now MaNa, I mean, maybe he goes Blink anticipating the Stargate, but even then, it's not that bad. There is the Stargate from JYP. What does MaNa do? And
MaNa better go find it.
Oh my god.
Almost gets a probe. That would be... And 1 probe of JYP is not mining.
I heard a probe die, actually.
Yeah, he got a kill.
He did
kill
a probe.
He killed a probe. And he sees the Stargate.
Yeah.
And he's going for a Twilight, so no, it's not going to be Stargate against Stargate. Cancel the Stargate now. Holy...
Well, yeah. No,
what's
that's the
going
right
on?
move. Oh, yeah, I forgot you don't have tech switches in ZVZ. So what just happened there, Rhett? Let me explain this to you.
Okay.
There was one option that he had. He's not stuck in a mono build that he has to do. And then he switched out of it to another build.
That's really, really impressive. Like, how do you even think of those things?
Is that like going roaches, but then instead going hydras? No. All right, anyways. It will be Twilight Counts versus Twilight Counts, but here we go. Look at that Dark Shrine in MaNa's base, which is, again, weird because he scouts Stargate. It was Oracle. Then it was Phoenix, but you have access to a fast Oracle. And he says, you know what? No. I'm going to go DT anyways.
This is, I think, looks really good for MaNa. Oh, they're both playing DT all of a sudden.
DT.
Wow,
No
this
one
could be
likes
a crazy game. This could be a really crazy game because I don't think MaNa's going to think that he's going to need detection against Stargate play at all.
Oh, and if he doesn't go Blink, JYP, he might actually add the Robo because that's the standard for this build.
And
but he
JYP is
scouts
going to
it out.
scout it. No.
Wait, does he see it with
no,
the vision?
No, not yet, not yet.
He doesn't see it. David Kim might have just knocked.
No, he will. He will come back. He'll come back around.
Wait. Swing it in there. Swing it in there. Swing it.
No.
There it is.
He sees. Okay.
He heard me from Poland. Evil genius. No, I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen all day, by the way, guys. We only got 2 players here. Chillax. But he does see it. Now, MaNa's stuck in a tough spot because guess what? I mean, his Dark Shrine's about to finish, but it shouldn't do anything.
Yeah, the Robo's on the way. And MaNa doesn't have any Robo on the way. He doesn't have any detection. JYP has a probe on the left side of the map. He's already making pylons.
Oh, he's got no pylon. Look where the DT's going to get built.
So far away.
So far away. Oh my god, Old Yeller took a shorter trip home. This is going to take forever. And he's got a sentry to force field it out, too.
Yeah.
Look at this.
So this looks really bad.
2 DTs, too. That's a huge investment.
And same for JYP, getting a DT on the left side of the map. But fortunately for him, that Robo for MaNa is... It's at least it's being built right now, but it's being super late.
No
and there's no
sentries, though.
sentry or
No.
nothing. This DT is going to waltz right in and have a field day with these
Yeah,
probes.
he might actually waltz. He could do a box step and a waltz. The DTs have paused outside of JYP's base too, so MaNa's in a world of pain. Photon Overcharge, this is kind of a cute move, by the way. What that does is it forces the DTs to have to then target fire, because otherwise if they just A move, they'll actually attack the Nexus. Little keynote for you guys out there. And now
Oh, he misses.
Oh my god, ugh. Well, okay.
But there's an observer.
Yeah.
So
He was like
meanwhile,
ugly just to be
JYP is
JYP
attacking
ugly.
the Nexus for some reason.
Yeah, because he's A moved.
Oh my god.
He killed the pylon, and then see, so that move actually kind of still killed MaNa, but a little bit less so. Look at that.
Yeah, he's still losing a lot of probes. It's 18 to 30 right now. He's just going to lose a couple more when this observer finishes. And even the Nex is going up for JYP. So no matter how you twist it, this is going to be such a rough situation.
Oh yeah.
He does not die immediately, but what does he do from here? He can't really do much.
How do we answer this question seriously? Like, how serious are you taking this caster role right now? What are you doing?
I guess.
Are you like going full caster? Like,
Yeah,
what can he do from here?
I have to keep this exciting, right? It's what people
I
say.
like that, Red. I'm watching the transformation. I'm gonna find like a 2011 post from you where you're like, I hate when casters pretend that the game's still competitive, and then I'm gonna play this soundbite where you're like,
Hey,
what can he do from here?
You've played StarCraft long enough to know that anything can happen.
You either play StarCraft long enough to be a retired pro gamer, or you see yourself become a caster.
Either one.
Or something to that effect. JYP is going to move out. To answer your question, one of the ways he could lose from here is if MaNa had been secretly warping in eight DTs and then just ran in and killed everything real quick. That'd be such a sick way to win. Oh my god. It's not going to happen though. He's marching up here, does JYP. Even attacking the rocks. Loving it. Everything's going to die.
Yeah, so he's just going to go straight into the main. And like you said, I guess he can't really do anything at all because there's just way too many units. There's an Immortal, there's an Archon, there's some Blink Micro, but...
I want this to be exciting, Red. I really do, but it's just not.
All the gates go down as well. No more units for him.
But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of Team Liquid or Poland or just MaNa, this is double elimination, so he's not out of it yet. This is a tough first round, but he will be playing single limb from here on out.
Yeah, I have to say I was expecting more from MaNa. Like the first game started out so well, then he kind of just got dominated by that amazingly smart tech switch canceling the Stargate, which I was like, oh, what's going on? And Jeff immediately knew, like, yeah, this is some PvP advanced mind games. Yeah,
mind games.
Interesting part of StarCraft that just totally flies right over us Zergs.
Because you guys are burrowed underneath it. We're going to do Dystar versus Nurchio next. Two Polish countrymen doing battle. It'll be a Zerg versus Terrence. This is right in your wheelhouse. No tech switches here.
No,
in fact, those builds are pretty much locked in for the first 10 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, it's just going to be brutal macro against, you know, mechanics and multitasking and all that good stuff. No sneakiness. No backstabbing.
Let me correct myself, though. Nurchio plays a weird ZVT. Doesn't he still do roaches, like every game?
I actually haven't seen him play ZVT because like he only plays against Protoss because the Terrans just get knocked out too early.
That's true. There's not a lot of those guys.
So.
And then Dystar has a tough choice ahead of him. It's either going to be, do I do Cloaked Banshee or do I do a third CC? I don't know.
It could be a double 11 Rex or proxy 8 Rex Reaper. Actually, that's making a comeback because it's.
Because Demacia moved back to Europe.
Well, no, I guess he helps a little bit. But actually, everybody goes gas because Reaper is so popular. So like double 11 Rex. There's like a real reason. Don't make fun of everything, man.
You're right. I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. So do we just hop right into it, producer man? We're going to do a break. So guys, we're going to do a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be more of that sweet hot beef injection that is StarCraft 2 at International Extreme Masters World Championship Open Bracket. I'm in control. He's Rhett. Make sure and give us some love. We're both at Liquid Rhett on Twitter. And of course, make sure and follow all those IEM stuff. We're going to be doing this all day. Hopefully you'll stay tuned. Don't make fun of everything. Oh.